What's going on YouTube? What's going on Facebook? Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm having a good day. I'm not going to let these tyrants get me down, but I will report what's going on. If anybody watches my channel, you guys know I love cruises. I talk about it quite thoroughly, maybe too much for some people, but I'm a little heated today. I'm going to try to keep it calm, but Royal Caribbean is trying to do a mandatory vaccination in order to go on their cruise lines. I'm a happy member. Or I was a happy member, so they're going to be hearing from me soon on customer service. Hello, hi, this is Anomaly. Yeah, special service. I go on a lot of cruises. Sorry, I'm going to be boycotting. This is Newsweek. Royal Caribbean faces boycott. I'm joining the boycott, and I'm going to get into that in a second. And Krispy Kreme will give you a free donut every day this year if you've been vaccinated. Isn't that nice? And I have to say two things as people are getting in. First off, thanks for being here. But this is a false dichotomy, folks. Do not let them trick you. Do not let them trap you. Do not let them lie about you. It's a false dichotomy to say either you're anti-vaxxer or you're pro-mandatory vaccination. There's no other possible way. There's no possible way that you can be pro other people getting what they want, but you don't want to be forced to get it in order to go on a cruise. This is what the game they're going to play. Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. Oh, you don't believe in the science. It's like, no, I'm not anti-juice, but I don't want the government saying, hey, take this juice, drink this juice. If you don't drink this juice, you don't drink this. It's not even FDA approved, bro. Calm down, okay? Maybe it's like a crackhead trying to sell you crack or something. It's like you're overselling it. Hey, I got a new car. It's brand new. It's got 100,000 miles on it. I mean, it runs. It's like, I don't believe you because you're acting like a weirdo. So this is a false dichotomy. It's not either you're pro all this BS, pro medical tyranny, pro human slavery, pro two-tiered society, pro them forcing you to do everything. It's like, I don't take pills. Some people take 3 pills. Am I anti-pill? I don't need a pill. I'm 31. I'm healthy. I'm out here getting too jacked for the gulag. I run. I'm fast. Usain Bolt sees me. He's like, he's pretty fast. Not as fast as me. You get it. I'm not anti-pill, but I don't want the government or Royal Caribbean to force me pills. And it's the same thing with their, emergency use authorized mRNA shots and Johnson & Johnson shots. And I have to say, Trump says Johnson & Johnson's a great company. I'm sure they are. Good luck to them in their baby powder lawsuit that's ongoing because they're going to need it because they're getting sued by around 25,000 people claiming that they knew that they had asbestos in their baby powder. And a lot of people got sick from it. So good luck to Johnson & Johnson in that court case. They're going to, it's always good to have some good luck. And Krispy Kreme, while everyone's coming in, I think there's no perfect description of how screwed up our society is and how backwards it is. Krispy Kreme sells donuts, okay? Our country is facing an obesity problem. Recent studies have come out and said that most deaths, I think upwards of 90% of the deaths from COVID came from heavily obese countries, obviously, because the fatter you are, the less healthy you are, the more likely you're going to die. And that's just the same with age. When you're 80 and 90 and you get pneumonia, you're not going to handle it as good as a 20-year-old with a strong immune system. And if you're super, super heavy and you get sick, you're probably going to be worse off. That's just the way the world works. With age, you can't help it. Everyone gets old and everybody dies. If you're younger and overweight, that's just one of the things that comes along with it. Action Bronson is a rapper who's lost like 100 pounds over the last year. He's an inspiration. He was like 307 pounds. Now he's 200 pounds. That's the way to go. But the point I'm getting to is you got Krispy Kreme amidst an obesity epidemic in this country, acting like giving people free donuts is some sort of like great thing. And I'm so tired. I might do a whole video on it. This NBA activism, this BS activism, where they say, we're so pro-black. We love the black community. You're so racist. Build back black. Everything. It's like they just got their hand in the air. They think they're Malcolm X, but they're really just a puppet of like Adam Silver or whatever. But they're like, we love black people. And I'm like, okay, for sure. So do I. Now what are we going to do about it? And they're like, Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is our sponsor. Taco Bell, State Farm, Taco Bell, Mountain Dew. It's like your idea of black activism is selling high fructose corn syrup to the hood and to the black community in the suburbs or wherever people live in the mansions. You just want to sell them high fructose corn syrup amidst an obesity epidemic where you got millions of people who have diabetes. These people don't care. They will do anything their puppet master tells them to do. Sell Taco Bell, sell Mountain Dew, Chris Paul, sell State Farm 1,000 times until we're tired of you in the commercials. They'll do anything for $1, yet they act like they're Malcolm X. It's like, bro, say one honest thing to the black community and watch how fast you get fined or watch how fast you get shut down by the sports world. These people are so phony. And I'm somebody that is not just going to roll over and take it because I know what I'm talking about. I have the facts. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm a pro-science, pro-truther, pro-reality, anti-extremism, anti-communism, anti-slavery. That's what I am, and I'm not bowing down to these insane laws. So that's what we're going to talk about today, folks. And don't let anybody tell you there's only two options. Either you're anti-vaccine or you're pro, mandatory vaccination. There has to be a balance in there, okay? I'm not anti-juice. I'm not anti-pill. I'm not anti-vaccine. I just don't take pills. I don't need a vaccine right now, and I don't want a vaccine. So why would I be forced to take one to get on Royal Caribbean? You don't know how ticked off I am. Listen, I got a Bible here. I'm just going to show it off for the Lord real quick. You're going to see me after this call, after I'm done with this live stream, turn off my phone, call Royal Caribbean, hold up the Bible. Hey, it's Anomaly and Jesus. I have Jesus in my hands. We need to talk to you because what you guys are doing with the mandatory vaccines is just sick. Let's see who we got here. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Island Photographer? What's up, Jax? What's up, Rachel? Appreciate y'all. All right, let's start it off. First story is Royal Caribbean, which I was a loyal member. They were giving me free cruises because you see a boy at the casino. They said, let's get him back here, and they just kept giving me free cruises. Took my brother on a cruise, took my best friend on a cruise for free. I was the cruise king. I was having a blast. I'm going to Alaska. I'm going to the Caribbean. Listen, I love, me, grandmas, Michael Jackson, dance floor, everybody singing, Jackson 5. Oh, baby, give me one more. You get it. That's what was going on all last year. I was going to be on a cruise every other month. You would see me with, electric sliding with 30 grandmas having a great time. We're all healthy. Now it's not going to happen. And Royal Caribbean is going to hear from me because they want to do a mandatory vaccination to get on Royal Caribbean. And this is what we all saw coming. And this is what is going to happen unless people put their foot down. And this is what I've been trying to say. Everybody's like, what can we do? You can't do everything. You don't need to start an Instagram page. You don't have to be like a social media superhero. You don't have to yell at your family on Twitter or whatever. Just put your foot down peacefully, respectfully in some case in life, if you feel that way. I don't want to tell people how to feel, but if you're getting bullied, don't allow them to bully you because the more they bully you and the more you give in, the more they're going to do it. I'm just going to wear a mask for a week, 15 days to slow the spread. I'm just going to wear a mask for a year. I'm just going to do it 9 to 5. I'll do it until it ends. Okay, I'll get the vaccine. I'll get 2 shots. Now I have 2 shots, but I still can't go on vacation. The CDC says it's not a good idea to go on vacation. I'm wearing a mask. Do you get what's going on, folks? It's never going to end. It's like you give them an inch, they take a mile. You give them a mile, they take 10 miles. They're not even trying to go by the science. I think Rand Paul brought up a good point. If the science is really, we're building antibodies, we're building spike proteins with the synthetic mRNA, we're trying to give you protection for a year, for 2 years, whatever, they would look into the science of natural immunity. I don't know exactly what it is for this, but when you get the virus, you build antibodies, your body fights it off, and then you'll most likely, almost definitely have immunity for how long? I don't know, a month, a year, 2 years, 5 years, indefinitely. I don't know, but are they even trying to study that stuff? Do they even care? Are they trying to differentiate and tell you, hey, if you had COVID-19, we're going to, try to figure out, maybe you have antibodies, you don't need the vaccine. They're just trying to make a sale. It's so obvious. It's like if you had the virus, they're not trying to differentiate and see how much natural immunity you have. They're just like a crackhead, just like everybody get in there. You get it. You got Jen Psaki, fact check, liar. Jen Psaki, liar. Who fact checked Jen Psaki besides me? Nobody. Because all the fact checkers on Facebook are just propagandist corporate shills who are pushing a narrative. Jen Psaki lied to the American people, which is a big deal because she represents the president. And she said that all the vaccines were FDA approved. They are not. They're not FDA approved. They're emergency use authorized by the FDA, specifically on the fact check. I have it on exposedlockdowns.com. If you go to exposedlockdowns.com, you could see all the facts from mainstream articles, Justice Department, FDA, CNN, New York Times, Reuters, you name it, CNBC. I have it all there to show people the facts about what's going on. And the fact is, this is not FDA approved. It's on the website. It says, this is not FDA approved. This is not FDA approved. We haven't gone through that type of regulation. We've emergency use authorized it. That's what it is. It's like, this is an emergency. Take it if you want it, but we're going to do more studies on it. That's what's going on. Jen Psaki lied and nobody's fact checking her because they're not trying to get the facts straight. They're trying to bully the whole world into submitting to big pharma tyranny, to what I consider human slavery. That's what this is. When you can't leave your country, They're talking about in England, you can't fly out or we're going to fine you. That's slavery. You can't leave the house. You can't leave here. If you fly back into Canada, they're doing two things via Justin Trudeau's Twitter. He said, if you're positive COVID-19, you get put in a government facility for a couple of weeks, which is frightening. It's like out of a movie. And if you're not positive, if you test negative, they make you quarantine at your house anyway. When is this going to end? When's the timeline? Is anybody asking when the date is? There is no date because they're just winging it and they're wildly incompetent. This is not just the pharmacy industry. This is the government. You give the government $2 billion and they build homelessness shelters. It takes them 5 years. They build one. Why are they so incompetent? We're going to go through the psychology of it. They get money every year. If you're even Amazon, I don't like Jeff Bezos that much. I don't trust Amazon. It's a good it's a good service. It just is. It's like, do they live in my house or something? It's like the packages come quickly. It's cheap. Say what you want about it. Good service. It's a company. The government, they don't have to do a good service. If Amazon doesn't do a good service, people aren't going to use it. If the government doesn't do a good service, you don't have a choice because they steal your money every year. This is what progressives need to understand. Raising the taxes will not help you because the government's incompetent. So you're stealing money from people, from workers, from corporations, which is fine. I don't really care about the corporations, but you're taking their money and giving it to the government, and the government just doesn't have to do anything. If Gavin Newsom squanders $10 billion, he'll get money next year. Imagine it's like being a rich kid and your mom just gives you $10 million every year. You crash the car, you're just a mess. You're all over the place, crashing this, crashing that. Here's the money next year. You have no incentive to stop because you don't have to. You're just going to get the money. That's the government. That's what's going on here, guys. They're getting incentivized to do this stuff. They're getting trillions of dollars of printing money. You get $1 billion. You get $1 billion. Why would the pharmacy industry want to stop? You had Monkeef Sloyoy or whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce it. The head of Operation Warp Speed, Monkeef. I don't know his last name's Sloui. If you look it up. He was also like the head of vaccines at GlaxoSmithKline for a while. So he says, I believe in personal freedom, but at the same time, I would be fine with mandatory vaccines if enough people don't get it. Of course you would be, because you worked at GlaxoSmithKline. It's like people are like, these are the experts. Yeah, they're expert salesmen. They're selling vaccines. They're selling lockdowns. They're selling tyranny. And they're selling you an ideology that destroys your business, that destroys your freedom, that destroys your constitution, that destroys your community, that locks down your gyms and makes everybody fatter, and they give you a Krispy Kreme donut, and their businesses are surging. Government's making more money. They're printing money. They're getting money. The vaccine industry is thriving. Pfizer's thriving. Moderna's thriving. They're getting government contracts for billions of dollars. So, yeah, of course they want to do it. And that's the experts they give you on TV. Oh, yeah, this makes total sense to just lock down. No, it doesn't. And people don't even think, I'm not saying COVID-19 is the flu, but I'm just saying, let's take the flu. Okay, we've had the Spanish flu. We've had crazy pandemics there as well. We had a flu vaccine in around 1940, 1945. I don't know the exact year. I believe Jonas Salk was involved, if I remember my history right, but whatever. It's been here for 80 years, 70 years. If you look at the flu timeline has not been like, it's been like, and it got worse and it just magically disappears this year. Oh, it's because okay, whatever. But 80 years of the flu vaccine, there's the flu season. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. If we're playing this game with COVID, maybe COVID will always be here. Maybe we can eradicate it. Maybe we can't. We weren't able to eradicate the flu for 80 years. So who's going to say how long this is going to stay here? They're not really sure. They don't. So if this is the game every year, slavery, they're never going to stop, folks. And we can't do this. This is not sustainable. They have no plans to stop, because as you're losing, I'm doing okay, but as you're losing freedom and people are losing physical businesses, Amazon, Zoom, a lot of these companies that are perpetuating this stuff, Washington Post, which is super pro lockdown, owned by Jeff Bezos, who owns a company that's profiting from it. It's so obvious, guys. You have to put your foot down in some way. If your family is trying to tell you to do this, that in order to see them, they're never going to stop. They tell you to put on a mask. They tell you to get a vaccine. They tell you to get a test. In my opinion, I'm putting my foot down. I've never gotten a test. I don't want a test. I don't want a PCR test jammed up my nose when I study the guy who invented it and seems to not like Fauci and disagree with how it's being used. The guy who invented it, that's a fact. Fact check. Facebook says that's not a fact. Facebook, shut up, okay? Fact checkers, you guys are losers. You guys are propagandists, losers who work for USA Today and all these other BS fact check organizations. Some of them, by the way, in France, we're getting fact checked by a foreign nation telling us what we can and can't say in America. That should be illegal. But you guys are such freaking losers, just carrying water for Joe Biden, carrying water for the medical industry. Oh, fact check the PCR. Oh, fact check, you're a liar. Fact check, if I go over here, I'm not even going to listen. I don't even need to do this right now, but, fact check, I have his book. This is Kary Mullis, the guy who invented the PCR test. Fact check, I'm reading it. Fact check, I have videos of him saying Fauci's a phony and he lies on television. Fact check, I have a video of him saying the PCR test is not made to tell you whether you're sick or not. It can show you what's inside of you, but you have a lot inside of you. And it says that correlation is not necessarily true. Fact check, stop lying. Fact check, stop covering up science. Fact check, go to hell. No, I'm just kidding. Go to heaven, pray, and hopefully you could be saved. But in general, just stop. Stop with the charade, okay? At this point, I don't even care anymore. It's like, I can't say anything. They're like, you didn't lie about the V word, but technically what you said is not what we want you to say. Yeah, I know it's not what you want me to say because you're like a used car salesman. You're like a crack dealer who just wants to make a sale. You don't care about people's health. You don't care about safety. You don't care about the truth. You don't care about the real science behind herd immunity. You don't care about it. I get it. You're a fraud and I'm not. So get used to it. I'm going to be here or I'm going to figure out a way to stream one way or another. So get off my back. And Krispy Kreme will give you a free donut every day this year if you've been vaccinated. These people are basically, in my opinion, I'm not going to say the word criminals, but these people are disgusting. And I'm not talking about Krispy Kreme here. I'm just saying we have an obesity problem in our country. Millions of people die from heart disease, preventable diabetes, this type of stuff. And then we also have a mental health problem. You have kids dying at record rates from opioid abuse, suicides. Our life expectancy before the pandemic, a lot of people don't know it. We've always been living longer. And then in America, our life expectancy went backwards. We're actually not living as long because of, and even our government will admit this, because of opioids and because of mental health. So we're in the middle of a mental health crisis and an opioid crisis, and they increase both of them. They decrease your mental health. They're increasing suicides. They're increasing opioid abuse. They're selling pills. You have COVID and you have all these things. I know people are like, dude, they're giving my mom opioids. It's like, of course they are. It's the pharmacy industry. They're just making sales. They're making as much money and as much sales as they possibly can while they lock down society, lock down your gym. People get fatter. People need more pills. They make money. People get more unhealthy. People take more pills, and people are afraid. People go and get their jab because they're scared. Yeah, they're making a fortune off of bamboozling society. So how is this not obvious to people? And I don't understand why the right wing seems to be the only people who get this. Everyone's like, anomaly. It's not political. You're damn right it's not, because a lot of right wingers are lying as well about this medical stuff. But left wingers are supposed to be holistic. Left wingers are supposed to be like, I'm vegan. I'm bringing the hummus. I'm like, for sure. I love hummus. Hey, I got, carrot sticks. Can I come over? Can we talk about, Joe Biden? It's like, all right, bring the carrot sticks, whatever. How does the left wing not get what's going on right now? They're like, I hate Donald Trump so much. I trust Pfizer and Moderna and Fauci, and they're my best friend. Then how are you a yoga instructor? It's like, I just don't understand how you're getting so bamboozled. Like, more than the right wing, I thought the left wing was more health conscious. It's like, what part of this don't you understand? Do you really think it's healthy to live in social isolation? Do you really think it's healthy to close down gyms and restaurants and let Uber Eats and Jeff Bezos take over the world? You think that's healthy? You think this is normal? You think that, psychologically abusing children, not allowing them to see smiles, there's dirt and crap all over their mask, forcing them to put it on for 5 hours? You don't think that's abusive? It's physically abusive. It's mentally abusive. It's psychologically abusive. And the problem with the Republican Party, although they seem to be the only ones that get it, they're always on the defense. It's like, no, flip the script. This is human slavery. They are enslaving human beings. They are psychologically, physically, and mentally abusing children and adults. And all of this is totally unethical. If you listen to Johns Hopkins, this is not my words, this is Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins is one of the biggest university that's really running the show with COVID. They're one of the more prestigious, medical institutions, their medical unit. And they published a study years ago that was controversial that said hundreds of thousands of people die from hospital deaths every year from mistakes. They said it was the third leading cause of death. I have a good memory. Check it out. So I'm not saying this, Johns Hopkins is saying this, and you can't disagree with the experts, because if you do with their COVID stuff, they'll call you a conspiracy theorist. So let's just say what they're saying is true, even if it's less, tens of thousands, but hundreds of. So hospital mistakes kill tens or hundreds of thousands of people a year. And in a lot of states, you're not able to see your family member when they're in the hospital. I've had family members in the hospital catch mistakes. They're giving them the wrong food. They're giving them the wrong banners. And, like they have like a color coded system. I've had family members be like, yo, you made a mistake. And the nurse like, oh, my bad. Yeah, they make mistake just like Taco Bell. Oh, we got the wrong order, except it's like, oh, you're dead. It's not my opinion that happens. It happens lots of times. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed by hospital mistakes. So it's wildly unethical that you're not allowed to see your family. Why am I the only one that's saying this? In some ways, I'm grateful, because everybody's so fake and phony and stupid that I'm able to thrive and create a career off of this. I'm pretty pumped about it. I saw the kids said their top 3 jobs that they want is YouTuber, vlogger, and musician, and I'm all 3. So I guess I'm living the dream. But in general, it's like, why is no one in the Republican Party saying this? It's like all the things I just said. It's like, oh, well, we'll get the vaccinations and then we'll maybe go back to normal. It's like, no, this is messed up. That's why we lose so much ground. Everyone's always on the defense. Everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't kill grandma. No, you're killing grandma because you're not allowing people to see her. Social isolation. These people can't exercise. They can't see each other. What's going to kill an elderly person faster than social isolation? This is not a theory. You can look at studies. They have them all over the internet. If you Google, where do people live the longest in Europe? You'll find this one community in Italy where people live longer than anywhere else in the world. And they've had documentaries on it. They've done studies. One of the main things besides, maybe their genetics and diet, they've weighed in on that. But one of the main things was social interaction. They have a great community. They're all lively. It's like turning off a car in the winter. Your car's not going to start in the summer. You have to keep it moving. They've destroyed some people's job. They've destroyed some people's way of escaping their, bad household, like a gym or a vacation. I mean, they are psychologically, physically, and mentally abusing humanity. This is such a crime, and I don't understand why more Republicans aren't saying that. And what better example of that than, Fatty McFat Fat Krispy Kreme donuts acting like they're doing us such a service. If you get a jab in your arm, I'll give you a free donut every year. How about you take that donut and you stick it in the oven? This is a kid show. In the oven, and, burn it a little more, because I like my donuts a little extra crispy. But in general, this is not health. That's health. Our country having, record highs in opioid abuse, in some cases suicide. I don't know if it's record highs, but obesity, and you're closing down gyms and giving people donuts. Do people not get it yet? This isn't about your health, people. You have to put your foot down. You have to, or else it's never going to stop. They're never going to. Well, maybe if we just do this, Trump will do Operation Warp Speed and the liberals will stop. They're never going to stop. It's like a kid that's just scribbling on the walls, okay? The liberals are mommy, who's too nice, and the conservatives are daddy, who's too mean, okay? And it's a balance. But it's like, I'm scribbling on the wall, and it's like the nice mom. And sometimes it's vice versa. The dad's too nice and the mom's meaner. But it's like, you got to tell the kid to stop or they're never going to stop. Like, oh, it's so great. You're such a good artist. It's like, no, your art sucks and you need to go in timeout. You don't have to say their art sucks. But in general, it's like someone needs to tell these people, no, just stop them. They're never going to stop. They're going to try to force vaccination on everybody, shut you out of society, and create a 2-tiered system. That's what they're doing. They're already starting it. It was predictable last year. And the only way to stop it is to peacefully and respectfully just say, no, you can't come see the kid unless you get a test and a vaccine. Then I'm not seeing the kid. I apologize. I wish I could, but you're being insane. I don't want to see it. I don't want to do this to work. I'm not getting tested 29 times. I'm not getting this. I don't need it. If people feel like their mRNA in their body is not doing enough, you can get synthetic mRNA. You can inject yourself with a Pfizer or Moderna emergency use authorized non-FDA approved vaccine. That's fine. Just know there's no liability from the companies. So if something happens, not only will you not get anything unless you go through their government fund, which won't pay out that much, probably, but also they'll cover it up in the media and treat you like a psychopath. So that's the only option. But also, I don't want it because I don't feel like my mRNA is bad. If I had like a broken arm or something, like maybe I'd get a synthetic arm. My mRNA is working great. My body's working great. My immune system's working great. every part of my body. I'm very grateful. I'm working out. I'm not just rushing to the pharmacy. And I think that's a big problem in this country is they just overprescribe. I'm not anti-pill and I'm not anti-vaccine. I think they overprescribe. I know they overprescribe. And the same thing that's going on with the pills is going on with this new product. And I don't care how much they censor me and lie about it because, their wicked ways, they're going to have to live with themselves for being a horrible person, covering up the truth and pushing the propaganda lie that's hurting people. When you go to the doctors, yeah, they might have a pill to lower your blood pressure. It might work. I know a lot of people have had success, but really the first step is like, if you're depressed, go for a walk, go for a jog, work out more. Like my back is bad, but it's really like the more I work out, the more I stretch, the better it gets. And maybe I can't fix it completely, but that's always a good first step is like, how many pills are you, if you're 350 pounds, like Action Bronson, he's a rapper, at a certain point, there's only so many medications you can take. It's just not healthy to be that big. He lost like 100 pounds. He's doing great. It's like that, it's hard to do and he has a lot of money, so it's easier, but that's like the real first solution. Then if you need like supplementary stuff, it's one thing, but this is like the society of not only fast food, which they promote all the time, but it's like just jam everything. Pill, needle. And now it's leading to human slavery. It's not just like, oh, I don't want to get the flu vaccine and you want to get the flu vaccine. It's like, I'm being treated like a slave and a prisoner. I can't go on vacation. I can't go to this country. I can't go on a cruise boat. I can't go to the store. I can't do anything unless I submit to their tyranny. And the masks, before they said, don't wear one. Then they said, wear one. Then they said, you have to wear one. You can't come here. I've been against that the whole time. I'm not anti-mask. I don't know, like these words don't even make sense to me. If you want to wear a mask, that's fine. I actually had a mask 2 years ago for air pollution to filter out all the disgusting air pollution in Los Angeles. I'm not anti-mask. I just don't want the government and corporations to force me to wear one. And then they force me to get a vaccine. Then I'm just an animal at this point. I'm not even a human being. I'm just like a slave. Is me walking in a restaurant for 5 seconds to sit down? Is there some sort of crazy spread going on when I sit down and then I take a mask off and I can eat and do anything? It makes no sense. It's not, it's pro-tyranny. It makes no sense to wear a mask for 5 seconds, sit down, and you got 100 people in a restaurant talking, chatting, and then the waitresses have to wear a mask and look like animals. This is sick stuff. And it's never going to end. So a big F you, excuse my language, but a big F you to Royal Caribbean. You will be hearing from me this week, a loyal member. I will not only boycott, but I will tell you on the phone what a joke you guys are. So look forward to hearing from me soon. And Krispy Kreme, you guys are losers. I mean, you guys sell crappy products that make people fatter. They taste good. I'll eat them. I'm not going to lie, but it's like, oh, we'll give you a free donut every year if you get a vaccine. It's like, you guys are such trash. You guys will sell any crappy product, fatten people up, jack them up with pills, put them on a conveyor belt like an animal, and then convince people that will make them healthy. It's like, I don't know if this is controversial to say anymore, and then I'm going to get to some comments, but a fit person that's in Olympic shape that doesn't get a vaccine for the COVID is more healthy than somebody who's not in good shape who gets the vaccine. This is not an emergency cure. It's not Charlie's, golden ticket where you get it and, you get to go to the factory and meet Willy Wonka. This doesn't cure everything in your body. It hopefully will build a spike protein, or the J&J one will build antibodies and you don't have any side effects. That's like, but they don't even, well, technically you still have to wear a mask. Then what's the point, Fauci? If you're going to say, okay, everyone could be free now, everybody still has to live like a slave and wear a mask because we're not really sure about it. Yeah, they're not sure because it's not FDA approved. It's emergency use authorized. It's not approved. They don't know as much as they say they're knowing. They're like snake oil salesmen. And I don't care anymore how much they try to censor that truth. If they knew it worked phenomenally, they would tell you to go back to normal. But you can't go back to normal because they're evil, wicked little weasels who are just destroying humanity, raking profits to these industries, and treating people like animals. And they should be ashamed of themselves. Every day that they wake up, every interview that they do on television, that little weasel should feel like a little weasel demon, and he should be ashamed of himself for what he's doing. And I think he is, because I don't think he's a dumb guy. And for how old he is, he's doing much better than Joe Biden. So, this is a joke. And the only way to stop it, guys, is to just say no to something. I don't know. I'm not just going to eat Krispy Kreme donuts and get every pharmacy product for my whole life. Oh, I'm really healthy. No, you're not. That's not what health means. People that are fit are more healthy than people who aren't. It's not like a war on healthy people and just people who aren't. Well, I got the Moderna. Look at my card. I can go on the Royal Caribbean. Good. Go on the cruise. Okay. Eat all the food, dance, have fun. Doesn't mean you're, Michael Phelps. Okay. What a joke this is. All right. Let's get to some comments, and I got to take off in like 20 minutes. I got taking boxing lessons. I'm too jacked for the gulag. I got a nice left hook, but let's calm down. Let's see what we got. It's my first time buying stars. Hope you get them. Thank you. Yeah, I will get them. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the stars. Thank you guys for the super chats. I'm juggling so many things right now, so I'm trying to be grateful and get all my stuff done. But I'm writing a book. I'm doing this. I'm launching new merch, so it's been a little hectic recently. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. I might keep this under 40 minutes so people want to watch it more. Someone said cruise ships are nasty. They're not nasty. I mean, it is what it is. It's always been, I'm going to defend my cruises. People don't like, some people never want to go on cruises. They say, oh, it's gross. It's always been that way. It's like, wash your hands. They've always been like, wash your hands. Because if you're in an enclosed area, it's easier it's probably easier to get sick in some ways. I've been on 3-4 cruises recently. I've never been sick. I've never even had a cough on a cruise. It's not like you go have fun, you get sick. If you don't like cruises, don't go on a cruise. But to make it like no one can ever cruise ever, if you want to, however old you are, take the risk and have a vacation. But this mandatory vaccine, mandatory mask, it's like a slave camp. What am I getting into a prison? Are we going to Guantanamo Bay? Or are we going to the Bahamas? Like when you're on vacation, I'm trying to breathe air, drink coconuts, work out, dance to, Michael Jackson songs. I'm not trying to act like I'm an animal in a cage. It's like, you might as well just send me to prison at that point. Like what's the point of getting on a cruise boat if you have to wear a freaking muzzle like a dog? And then people walk their dog and they wouldn't even put a muzzle on their dog, but they'll put it on their children. This is a sick world, but it is what it is. Someone said cruise ships are actually very clean. They clean a lot. Royal Caribbean is very clean. I mean, I'm going to call them later because I'm not happy, but yeah, they clean all the time. Nice staff. I've never been sick. It's never felt dirty. Like if you're scared, just stay home. Don't ruin the boat for me. Dance like what? How do I dance? I mean, I'm not trying to do it right now, but how do I dance? I got moves. They got the shuffle song. I don't want to get into it right now, but if I start dancing, you'll know it. You'll see it. Someone said Krispy Kreme is not a crappy product. It's a donut. Listen, I eat ice cream and stuff. It's not like I don't eat anything. I'm not the healthiest person, but I'm not the least healthy. I'm healthy because I work out and do a lot, but I don't like just eat all like greens and stuff. I'll eat a donut once in a while, but I'm just saying it's not like they're not the arbiters of society. Like we're so helping. You're not helping that much, dude. You're not, Krispy Kreme, they've probably had a net negative on the world. I don't know. I don't think their products are necessarily making people healthier, but whatever. I'm not above it. I'll eat a Krispy Kreme donut, but not anymore. It's like now I'll buy one. I'll be like, oh, thanks for the Krispy Kreme donut. And I'll throw it against the wall and I'll be like, have a good day. You guys suck. That's what Someone said children should eat a bowl of fruit a week. Yeah, I think there are natural ways to be healthier. I mean, I know there are. It's like working out and eating. It all plays a factor. I'm not the healthiest person, but I'm conscious of what I'm doing, where it's like I used to just buy bread and bagels all the time. And it's like I don't eat that much bread anymore. It's like I'll eat bread. I'll eat a cheesesteak. I'll do it. But it's not like I'm not eating it like 4 times a day. That's my idea. It's like same with working out. You don't have to work out for 3 hours every day, but it's like if you don't work out at all for a month and you do like 15 minutes every week, that little bit's going to play a factor. And same with food. Every little bit plays a factor. So if you're just not paying attention to any of it and just jacking yourself up with all the products they have, it's not going to work. Joshua Crom said, you're a bad mofo. Love the way you break down. Much love and respect. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate you. Jazz said, my grandmother caught shingles. Doctor treated, no bed. So she emergency hallway for 5 days. She caught C and diff the hallway and died. Canada is known for hallway medicine, and it killed my grandmother. Sorry to hear that, but yeah, that's my problem with like quarantining and stuff too. Is like, say you have like an asymptomatic case and they throw you in an area with people who are all symptomatic. That sounds like a bad idea, but I don't know. I'm sorry to hear that. Someone said, I'm late joining. What's up with Krispy Kreme? They're just giving away free donuts to everybody who gets a vaccine. You could rewind it back. Take that, rewind it back when it's done. I got to leave in like 4 or 5 minutes, unfortunately. Let me see. Someone said you have to do a test and quarantine to get to Kauai. The shot doesn't let you in. You still have to test. It's crazy to me because, like, listen, me personally, I know family members, friends who got the vaccine. That's cool. Some had side effects, some didn't. Some got chills for a few days, some didn't. But I don't want it. But it is interesting to me, like the people who really want it, do they not notice that the whole story was like, we're going to get the vaccine and we're going to be immune and we're going to be free. Now they're getting the vaccine. You still have to quarantine in Hawaii. You still shouldn't travel. Guys, it's like, how do these people not get it? Even didn't the vaccine people think that getting the vaccine would mean that they were immune and could be free? It's like they're giving you the product, they're trying to force it on you, and then they still won't allow you to do all these things. It's like like sheep world or something. Like people are just on like a conveyor belt. That's all you are at this point. It's like and that's all it is. And you just like, maybe one day I'll be free again. You're on a conveyor belt. They're taking you to the slaughter. There is no timeline. 15 days to slow the spread, 30 days to just cause it. Summertime, just wait till the vaccine. When the vaccine comes out, you'll be free. Now you got to wear 2 masks, but now the vaccine is here. And, you still got to wear a mask, and 2 masks would be better. Guys, it's like slave training. Do you not get it? If 2 masks was such a huge success, how did they not know beforehand? You have to understand when it comes to breathing. Ready? I'm going to do it right now. The science of breathing and spitting has not changed drastically over the last 100 years. The Center for Disease Control is not unfamiliar with infectious diseases. Way more severe, way less severe. That's what they're supposed to do. So you have to understand, if 2 masks was better than 1, why didn't they say it since March? Why did they say not to wear a mask? Because that's what the studies showed. Then they said to wear a mask because that's what they wanted you to do. Now they're saying wear 2 masks. If you're really pro-science, you have to be smart enough to ask the question, if 2 masks is really good for me, why didn't you tell me for a year? Why did you let a year of the spread until I wore 2 masks? Because they're lying. They're bullshitters. They are total frauds. The CDC is like the Huffington Post of how it's like they're about as good as the hipster in San Francisco paying $3,000 for a crappy apartment, writing op-eds about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer being racist. That's who's running the show right now. People that are about as objective as that. Jessica, she said, I'm in LA. Schools are opening April. LA Unified School District wants kids to get tested every 2 weeks and temperature check every day. I asked them if my son gets the temperature on his wrist. They had no answer. What do you think? I mean, it's up to you. It's a tough time to be a parent, especially if you work, you want your kid to go to school. I don't have the answers. I'm not a parent, so I don't, it's easier for me to say what I would do versus what I would do. So you got to go with what you want. My guess is I would not let them do that to my kid. That's just my thought, but it's not really up to me, because it's like, yeah, I would, if I had a plane, I'd fly to the moon or so. It's like, yeah, you could say that if you don't have any experience. So I don't know. Mass testing, I've never got a test. I don't want to test. I wouldn't want them jacking PCR tests up my kids' brains or noses. I wouldn't want them wearing a mask. I think it's really unethical, but to each their own. I don't know. It's a tricky time to be a parent. So I have the utmost respect for parents right now. It's a very hard time, but it's an important time to be a good parent. Do I plan on having kids? Yeah, of course. But I don't know. I'm 31. My advice for my father and my family was, wait till you're 30. I know some people are like, have kids when you're 20, have kids right away. But, my parents were divorced and they're both great people, but, they were like, we rushed into it. We were kids. We weren't ready. I've matured a lot in the last 3-4 years. So if I would have tried to do this when I was younger, I'm sure I would have learned along the way, but I'm taking my time where I'm not going to wait forever, but I don't want to rush into something and make a mistake. So I'm sure I will have kids at a certain point, but as far as now, I'm not in some sort of crazy rush. I'd rather wait for the right time and the right place. Michael Moma said ethyl oxide is in the test. Yeah, I'll have to ethylene oxide. I'll have to look into that, Michael. I haven't heard that, but I will check it out. Yeah, I've never gotten the test. I don't want one. How come you won't talk about the live shooting right now in Boulder, Colorado? I know nothing about it. I'm sorry. I'm not that tapped into everything all the time. Let me see. Boulder. Should I look it up or something for you? Boulder, Colorado. Police are responding to an active shooter at a supermarket. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Grocery store. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look it up, but two factors going on in my mind right now. Obviously, all violence, all killings, like that should all be condemned. It's all terrible. Everybody knows it, but they locked people inside for a year. I don't know what this happened. I don't know what his motive was. I'm not going to pretend to, but I'm like, in general, if you're the US government, okay, you're Fauci, you're Trump, you're Biden, you're running the show. Locking people inside, like you see what's happening in Miami. You got people acting crazy and stuff in the streets, like fighting, restaurant owners. I'm not justifying what's happening in Miami because it looks like quite the circus, but you've locked people inside for 2 years. What do you think happens to a human? They're like, everybody's stir crazy. It doesn't mean you should be fighting in Miami or you should commit crimes. You shouldn't. It's horrible. And I don't justify it at all. I'm just saying it's like, if you lock your kid in a room, aren't you going to expect there to be some sort of consequences? They're physically and psychologically and mentally abusing the entire country. So it's like, it's shocking to me that more of this isn't happening. And I'm not saying I don't want it to at all, but it's like, when you treat people like crap and everybody's being abused and like, suicides are up, opioid abuse is up, mental health is on the decline. What does our government expect? It's like they want this stuff to happen. And in general, the Biden administration probably wants the gun grab on the Second Amendment because that makes America stand out from the rest of the world. The ability to protect yourself from tyranny, the ability to protect your family in areas where maybe the police won't do it, and to, hold down your business, like say the rooftop Koreans during the LA riots and stuff. So this stuff, I feel like it's going to happen, or they're going to, really, I don't want to say they want it to happen, but I don't think they don't want it to happen. I think this is the exact next step for them to try to push the narrative of gun control. So it's like, I ask myself in general, I'm very fair. I'm honest. I don't make up random theories that I can't back up. And if I do, I'll be honest about it and be like, I don't know. It's just my gut. But with the whole Asian thing, I've never in my lifetime, of course, there's all sorts of races beefing all the time, like individuals, but I've never heard a situation like what happened in Atlanta. And all of the attacks that were going on with the Asians were all non-white people. They were mostly black people in like the cities, like San Francisco and stuff. And they kept saying white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. And I'm thinking to myself, listen, there's bad white people out there, but this just doesn't even involve white people. Like Asians getting attacked in San Francisco by black people, how I don't understand the connection to white people. So I saw them trying to push that narrative. They're doing rallies, protests, like smashing windows like they always do. And I'm like, they so badly want this to be white people, even though this particular thing is not white people. And then all of a sudden the perfect narrative comes for them to blame white people and to take, to say it was the guns. So, I'm not saying anything, but I just find it shocking. In my 30 years on this earth, I've never heard of a situation like that. I don't think it's ever happened. And it happens at a time when the media has already crafted that narrative. It's very suspicious. And same with this type of stuff. But of course, like these things happen naturally. There are bad people, there's crazy people, there's psychos, there's losers. But our government would be wise, I think, as like leaders of the world, if you have people in inner cities that are trapped in their houses. They can't go to the gym. These elitists don't understand what it's like to be poor or middle class. Like if you live and even if you're middle class or lower class, whatever, in the city, you don't have the option. Like a farmer can like work outside, or, you know, they have more space. If you're on top of each other in the hood, if you live in Harlem or Brooklyn, you don't have the luxury to just like have a backyard. So if you have a job, that job might be keeping you alive. If you work out at a gym, that gym might be keeping you alive. Your parents might be abusive. You might live in a dangerous area. These are important. When you shut down gyms, when you shut down work, you're killing people. You are not only driving them insane, but you're killing them. You're not allowing them to get out of a dangerous or violent situation and do something that's healthy for them. So when you do that for a year and a half, how is crime not going to go up? Crime's going up in the city. Now you're seeing shootings and stuff. It's all horrible, but it's like, what do you expect when you shut these people down for a year and a half? They go to Hawaii, Miami, and just start wiling out. I'm not justifying it because I think it's overdone, but it's like, I'm not shocked. It's like every cause has a reaction, and our government does not care. The pharmacy industry doesn't care. They don't care that health is on the decline. They don't care that fit people are getting fatter. They don't care that people are working out less. They don't care that they made it almost impossible for people in inner cities to work out. They don't care about any of it. They don't care that schools were shut down. They don't care how it burdened parents. They don't care how it burdened kids. They don't care how they're psychologically abusing kids and they all hate it and they want to see smiles. They don't care at all. They are such evil people. So if you really want to stop all this stuff and stop violence and stop crime and stop hate crimes, then you have to factor all of this into public health. But they don't, because they're frauds. They're trying to sell their product. They're trying to sell their political ideology, and they don't care how many people die, how many people get shot, how many people get fatter, how many people die of heart disease or opioid death or commit suicide. They don't give a shit. And these people should be treated as such. They shouldn't be babied. You shouldn't have to play defense and say, oh, well, I'll play along to their... No, they're killing people with their ideology and their refusal to do that. And that's how they should be grilled by Congress and whoever. It's like, yeah, I understand that, large groups may cause this, but do you understand this? Do you understand this? Do you understand that you're doing this? Do you understand that locking people down like caged animals for this long is going to have some sort of consequence when it comes to 350 million people? Do they not know? Of course they know. They don't care. These are not good people. And I'm tired of people acting like they really care. They don't care. Jessica, she said, it's all a psyop to blame it on white supremacy. Asians and whites get along really good in LA and SGV. If anything would happen, well, they definitely have a huge, they're like, and white extremism's at an all-time high. And I'm looking at everything. I'm like, anti-white extremism in the media is at an all-time high. I come from a family where we have a lot of different cultures, Italian, Puerto Rican. I have a Mexican stepfather, Mexican siblings, but the anti-white extremism in the media is at an all-time high. They are so nasty, so hateful. And you look at things like this, here's how you know that it is. They say you can't say all lives matter. Okay, Black lives matter. You can't say all lives matter because Black lives matter. Okay, now they're saying Asian lives matter. Okay, I agree. They're saying Hispanic lives matter. So would you just say all lives matter if all those, you can't say that? If you went to most of these liberals, here's how you could tell. They don't love minorities as much as they hate white people. Here's how you could tell. If I went to them behind closed doors, most of these Black Lives Matter and Asian activists who aren't really Asian activists, and you said, which of these slogans do you like more? All lives matter or all lives but white people matter. Most of them, without question, would say, oh, I like the slogan, all lives but white people matter. That's how you could tell that they hate people. And this is a study I haven't done. I'm just kind of spitballing, but they hate all lives matter because they hate white people. You could say Asian lives matter. That's fine. Black lives matter. That's fine. Hispanic lives matter. That's fine. They just hate white people. They don't love minorities. They love using minorities. And the worst thing Asians could do is let liberals take over their culture, because Asians are successful in America because they're everything liberals aren't. Strong family, strong values, hard workers, no excuses, no stopping, just raw hard work and education. And that's what liberals will take away. So if you want to help the Asian community, keep liberals away from them, okay? Liberals will destroy you faster than anyone. I want to play this clip real quick of Malcolm X, because this is a clip I love. I play it all the time. And he kind of explains how the Black community is financially, psychologically, in every way controlled by white liberals. And he says, you guys are the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere. This applies to Asians too. This is not my words, Malcolm X. He says, you guys are doing everything. He's like, every black activist that you claim is being funded by white liberals. Here, I'm gonna play the clip.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox.
I'm gonna play the last clip and I'll move on.
A large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
I have to go in a few minutes. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the stars. I want to say something real quick because, I was at a freedom protest this weekend and most of the people there are right wing or support Trump because that's just what it is. For some reason, the left and the right fought, the media got involved, and now the left wing is just absent. Besides Naomi Wolf, great job. Russell Brand, great job. My message to progressives before I leave is, say the Jimmy Dores and the Kyle Kalinskis, they're not talking about the lockdowns. They're on a $15 minimum wage. If you're not talking about the lockdowns, you're missing everything. If you're not talking about medical tyranny and you're not talking about lockdowns and you're just spewing the same progressive talking points you were 2 years ago, you're missing out. You're just like a robot. So I want to say to those type of progressives and people who listen to them, challenge them to talk about the elephant in the room, which is being used to enslave humanity, which is being used to funnel all the money to the top of the corporations that they claim to hate and give all this power to the government that they claim to you disagree with. Talk about the lockdowns like Russell Brand or Naomi Wolf, or you're just a useful tool talking about $15 hour minimum wage. What about the fact that people can't leave their homes, Jim? It's like, come on, guys, wake up. And same with the right wing. And this is my big criticism for the right and for Trump. Everybody loves Trump. The Trump supporters, unfortunately, or fortunately, are going to be the ones who are out protesting for freedom. For some reason, there's just not that many liberals there, which is great for right-wingers to be on the right side of this one. But at the same time, everybody loves and idolizes Trump, and Trump is not a good leader against medical tyranny. He's not talking about it. He's not mentioning it. The only time he mentions it is to promote it. He doesn't say this is bad, we shouldn't do vaccine passport. He mentions it, but he's more interested in telling you he's the reason that it all came. He did mass testing. He did the ventilators. He funded them. He funded AstraZeneca and all these companies. He did Operation Warp Speed. He saved your life with the lockdown. If he didn't do the lockdown and Operation Warp Speed, 100 million people would have died. These are things coming out of Trump's mouth. He said it would have been worse than the Spanish flu if he didn't lock the country down and do Operation Warp Speed. That's a total lie, and he's on the wrong side of the most important issue in humanity right now. So if you really want to win in the future, people have to realize that he's not doing it. You can't follow a leader that's running you off a cliff. Appreciate him for who he was, challenge him to be better, but please do not worship somebody who's on the wrong side of the biggest issue in the country. There's a reason that there were bigger anti-lockdown protests in England and bigger anti-lockdown protests in most other countries like Canada. One of the reasons is their lockdowns are much worse than ours. So I think people have to pay attention because it's really bad there. But the second reason is they don't have a Donald Trump there to distract the freedom movement. And in many ways, Trump inspired the freedom movement. And then he ran it off a cliff where it's like if Trump said, it's time to, just peacefully protest and do something about the lockdowns as far as just everyone would do it. But he's not doing that. He has the attention of the whole freedom movement and he's just selling vaccines. He's selling the agenda of Bill Gates and acting like it's like really cool or something. It's like the dude has to stop or people need to tune out because I don't say this to be mean or anything. He did a lot. Someone said Rand Paul. Here's the thing before I have to leave. Rand Paul and DeSantis need to be complemented. They're not perfect. It's not everything, but they're showing you what needs to happen. Why are they so popular? They're standing up for freedom. They're challenging Fauci. And they're challenging liberals and saying, no vaccine passports. I'm going to look into it. Trump is all about himself, I feel like. Fauci says you need to go on Fox and tell everybody to take the vaccine. And Trump does it. Trump goes on Fox and it's like Fauci says jump and Trump says how high. He totally like caved, or he's just not doing anything. So we need to compliment the Ron DeSantis's and the Rand Pauls for actually doing something, and Trump's not doing anything. So I think he's building a social media. I'm going to make the best social media. It's like, cool, that's awesome. I'm glad, but it's like we're facing human slavery. We're facing medical tyranny, and the sad truth that nobody wants to say is Trump helped it all happen. Biden didn't get here till January. Biden sucks, don't get me started, but this all happened under Trump. He did 15 days to slow the spread. He extended it to 30 days. He signed off on all the paperwork, the socialism, the communism, the Operation Warp Speed, all of it, bragged about it, said it worked, and never turned around. He's never been the same person since then. So I'm just being honest. If you want to get I see people in the streets and they say, Anomaly, I don't like when you say that, but you're right. Like people, they get mad at me on here, but when I see them in the streets, they're like, Anomaly, I agree with you. They got Trump hats on, Trump shirts on. They're like, Anomaly, I love Trump, but I love you. I appreciate what you're saying because we need to hear that. And that's all it is. If you care about the Constitution, the country, your freedom, not being a literal slave for the next 20 years, you have to choose, idol worship and personality over just reality. And if you're smart, I think you can get Trump to shift on it, because if nobody likes him, he's very easily swayed that way. I feel like he wants to be loved, and the liberals hate him, so he wants to please them. Don't be such a guarantee. It's like he knows that his base likes him, so I feel like he just feels like he doesn't have to do that much for people anymore. And I want to say this on that note too. Trump lost the election for a lot of reasons, and people will get into that, but he lost a portion of like the white male vote and the female vote, where it's like he went down in the demographic that people say he's so racist. He went up in the black vote. He went up in the Hispanic vote. He lost the vote of white people, in my opinion. Besides the funny business, he pandered way too much. He's like black. He was just as bad as the left with identity politics. He's doing American Dream Plan for Hispanics. I'm part Hispanic, but it's offensive to me that he's doing an American Dream Plan for just part of my ethnicity and part of my family. What about my Polish and Italian family? They don't get the American Dream Plan? Trump pandered way too much. And that's what he's doing now to liberals. Like he's trying to please everybody except for the base that got him elected, because he thinks like he doesn't have to please you. And in many ways, he's right. So demand a little bit more. Be like, dude, we're about to face all this crazy sort of lockdown. And even in Florida, it's not totally open. It's kind of open, but the liberal corporations run the show. In Disneyland or Disney World, whichever one's in Florida, it's just as bad as Disneyland in California. Everyone's like, you can't scream on a roller coaster in California. It's true. They want to mask you up. It's the same in Florida. The liberal corporations are going to run Texas and Florida into the ground. And without those, we don't have an economy. So it's a bigger picture going on. And it's not like, oh, I live in Texas, it's going to be all right. Texas will go blue soon because all these liberal companies are moving there. Oracle, Austin, you're fighting 3-4%. It almost flipped with Beto. It was that close. It wasn't like a 10-point election. So, these are things everybody has to think about, because just because you like Trump or DeSantis or Governor Abbott, they don't really have control over their own states, their own cities. Some of them are trying. I think DeSantis better than others, but it's going to take the conservatives to put their foot down a little bit against not just the left and the medical tyranny, but those on the right that aren't talking about it, including, before I leave, the Ben Shapiros. It's like, I like Ben, not really, to be honest. I don't really like Ben, but whatever. He employs Candace. I like Candace. He employs Gina Carano. I like her. So I like, he's adding something to the equation, but he's out here talking about he's totally okay with mandatory vaccinations as long as they're not forcing it in you, but they're shutting you off to society if you don't get it. Just like in Israel, the place that Ben doesn't want you to think, he has loyalty to. It's like there's an overlapping pattern there. Israel is the, vaccine capital of the world, and they are, doing a two-tiered society. And America is heavily influenced on both sides by not only Israel and Israeli influence, but also, a political / social / ethnic ideology that roots from there. And yeah, it's no shocker to me that Ben, when push comes to shove, and maybe the most important issue of our generation, he's on the wrong side of it. It's like he's just conservative enough to get everybody's attention. And then when push comes to shove, like, am I going to be treated like a slave, Ben? Or do I get to be a free man? Oh, well, I'm okay with you being banned from society if you don't get the vaccine. Then I don't like you, bro, because you're not on my side on the most important issue. So overall, People said boycotts work. That's it. We're going to end on a good note. With Royal Caribbean, they're going to be hearing from me later tonight. With all these conservatives, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to be nasty, but stand up for yourself, because the more you give in, the more they take. And I'll tell you this, a lot of Republicans and conservatives and Trump people, they know you love them, which is awesome. And people are so loyal. I think right-wing people are very loyal, very kind, very charitable. So sometimes the Trumps and these conservative influence, they take advantage of you because they know that you'll always have their back, where it's like, you don't have to be unloyal. But if somebody's saying, I locked the country down, millions of lives were saved, I saved 100 million lives. No, stop, dude. Just stop. It's like the border. Yeah, big deal, but bigger deal. What's going on in our country? You got to get with it. Tell Don Jr., come on, bro, get Pops back in the game. He's been out of the game. It's like, it's like Paul McCartney putting out a bad song or something. It's like, we know he's still Paul McCartney. He's Trump. We love the guy. You got to get him back on the course, get him a new guitar or something. Because the last year, some advisor told him that it's just a good idea to just be like, Bill Gates could never be me. I did Operation Warp Speed. I mean, Bill Gates wanted the money. I gave him the money. What do you know? I gave him so much money. I signed up. It's like, we get it, dude. You funded vaccine companies. You deserve a Nobel Peace Prize or something. But we got bigger fish to fry here, big dog, in the country, our Constitution, our freedom. We're being treated like animals, big dog. Okay? Maybe not at Mar-a-Lago. You're not being treated like that. Maybe not in the White House. But we are, the little plebs of the world. We're being treated bad. And we're facing more and more freedom removal. So you should probably talk about it at a certain point. It should make your way into one of your emails. Hey, Mitch McConnell, really bad guy. I'm really good guy. When you get your shot, think of Big Trump, think of Donnie Trump. I think of you every time I think of the vaccine, Don. Trust me. I can't think of the vaccine without thinking of you. Some people say it's a flaw. Anomaly, you're a liberal. Anomaly, you're so emotional about it. No, he wants credit for it, so I give him credit for it. I just think he's on the wrong side of the equation when he's doling out that much money, including trillions of dollars of socialism paychecks that are just being printed out of thin air. Trump did that just like Biden did that. It's like, yes, Biden sucks, but it's like Trump caved the country, sold us out to the pharmacy industry, locked the country down, and then handed the keys to freaking Joe Biden. It's like I call it a lob. It's like John Stockton is Trump. He lobs the ball to Karl Malone, and Joe Biden dunks it in our face. It's like, yeah, I don't like Joe Biden. I don't agree with this stuff, but it's only like a fantasy that Trump didn't set us up for this. He like literally did everything they could have possibly wanted and then handed the keys. And he's like, okay. And his finale was setting his supporters up. That was his finale. He didn't pardon Julian Assange or Edward Snowden. He didn't pardon Ian Smith or any of the gym owners who have all these fines. He probably could have done that. He pardoned Israeli spies and agents. He pardoned a Democrat criminal, a bunch of whack people. He didn't even pardon Joe Exotic, at least throw us a bone. And then he tells his supporters to go to an event at the Capitol. That's totally aimless. I don't think he meant to do it, but if he's the general, if he's the leader of a movement, and he's like, Mike Pence is going to overturn the election, come here, we're going to win, we won. It's like, bro, it's an aimless plan. Everybody's there, you're like, Mike Pence. What's Mike Pence going to do, bro? He's not Jesus Christ. What's he going to send the electorates back and they're going to send them right back? Like, oh, yeah, let's not even vote. Hey, guys, we don't even have to vote next year because Mike Pence can just overturn the election. Isn't that good? I didn't even vote because I'm just going to yell at Mike Pence on Twitter on January 5th and expect him to overturn the election. It's like, what a joke. And nobody wants to say, oh, no, Mike Pence betrayed us. Maybe for other reasons, but not for that. Like, that's why you're mad at Mike Pence, not for Operation Warp Speed, not for working with Fauci. You're mad at him for not overturning the election on January 6th, and then everybody's ticked off. It's like Trump said it like that. That's just bad leadership. Trump's been a bad leader the last year. I'm sorry. He's not my leader anymore because he's not leading me anywhere. He's like, I did the shot. I did the shot. I know you did the shot. Why can't you say that it's psychologically, mentally, and physically abusive what they're doing? Spend half the energy of what you're bragging about funding, Pfizer or Moderna or whoever you funded, spend one half that energy standing up for the American people and the American freedom, and I'll be over it. I'll stop talking about it. But until then, you're going to hear me talking about it because it's a big issue. And I have to say it because it's going to be Trump supporters who save the country. It's going to be Trump supporters who stand up against tyranny. It just is. I could cry to liberals all the time, but unless they get what I'm saying here, it's too late for that. So I'm going harder on the Trump people and Trump, because that's my guy. That's the guy that is like has a pulse. Like his son, he gets it. Don Jr., he's on Twitter. Listen, the dude's on Instagram, on TikTok, he gets it. Okay. I mean, he's in his 40s, but he's youthful. He's got youthful internet energy. So, that's my message to the Trump family. We love you. Just get it together, Donnie. You've been dropping bad songs. We need a classic soon. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I appreciate y'all. It was nice meeting a bunch of people this weekend. I met like 100 people. It's always very rewarding seeing people, seeing their kids, hearing stories, seeing what's going on, looking at all the innovation, people doing stuff on a local level. Very, very cool. I got extra energy this week from the people, and that's it. I'm going to continue to work hard, get out information, live stream, video, song, documentary, maybe book. I'm all over the place. So I got to just calm down. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you, and I will be back soon. This was a fun one.